You may have heard about something that goes on in China. What doesn't go on in China?
Hey, it's Dean Graziosi, and yes, I'm burning a real estate license because the number one question people ask us all the time, do I need a real estate license?
Piss off, you massive twat. Right. So, you may have... I don't know why that fucking... Why the old writing is not coming up there. So you may have heard about this quite controversial subject of Chinese internment, internment detention camps for religious people. And obviously, because the way the world is now, they're mainly focusing on the fact that Muslims are in there, but there are Christians in there too. And I don't know about Buddhists. Like, Buddhism's still right there, sort of, even though it's an atheist place, but there's many stories in this documentary. It's an expose by the Wall Street Journal. So I'm not going to watch all of this. I just want to...
Experts say this is probably an internment camp.
It is an internment. They put Muslims. Apparently they make them, sing Chinese songs about how great, Chinese communist songs going, we love the government, it's great. The government does no bad ever. I love the government more than mum, more than dad. I will kill them if they betray them. Right, like them kind of songs, and then I know they're making them eat pork. Renounce Allah, probably pouring a few shots of vodka down them, make them watch some fucking titty porn, doing some real fucked up shit up in there, basically, Just being right buggers, I suppose. But what is interesting, this is what I was real fucking high, and I was like, oh, that's real interesting. Because it is. So, you think that if China are behind all the sort of cyber attacks we've had in recent years, maybe including these mythical Russian troll bots that apparently, buy up all the Facebook advertising space that is available, and obviously there was hackings at the NHS, there's some hacks in America, there's been a lot of hackings going on, and they sort of said, yes, it's China, and then that's it, they don't really call China out, not the way they call Russia out, you see. This is why Russia ain't behind half the shit they say, because they call Russia right out, right? But they don't call China right out. They sort of go, probably China, and that's just it. Right, well, you're not going to have a word? You're not going to go down the embassy and go, excuse me, why are you being buggers to our NHS? Hello, Mr. Chinaman, why are you being a massive bugger? They're not doing that. So, they're not afraid of, it's the fact, they're not afraid of Russia. They're not afraid, governments are not afraid of Russia in the slightest, because they call them out and put sanctions on them. But when they suspect China of being up to something, they don't do jack shit. Think about that. Never. So that's an interesting fact. So you got to think, if China are behind these attacks, how do you think they feel, and what do you think is their motives? In general, is it obviously there's a global trade thing going on. They want to be a superpower and they want to culturally influence the world. The world is changing. Blah 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 blah. When you think constantly in the Western world, there are documentaries and stories and so forth put out criticizing what they do. Now, quite rightly, you can criticize what they do. I'm not saying that it's cool to. Clearly, this is not cool, but maybe it's cool to them. Do you see what I'm saying? So we need to think. People are just so insular in our own little bubbles, and we go, oh no, that's not cool because we don't do that. That's not cool, but they think it is. In fact, they clearly don't think Islam's cool. So they put them in these horrible camps and make them eat pork and sing wacky songs about Chairman Mao, right? So when we criticise them, or Americans criticise them like that, how do you think they react? Again, they're probably like, excuse me? Who you telling what to fucking do? That's how they're going to react. No one ever thinks like that and goes, oh, because yeah, but maybe, you know, maybe they just don't like us always, you know, or always having a go at China for polluting the air and their horrible human rights history record and the fact that they don't admit Tiananmen Square actually happened. You know, but on the other hand, it's like, who the fuck are we to criticize China? And maybe they feel like, oh, well, fuck you. You know, we're going to erase all your fucking patient records tomorrow, you pricks. Just a thought. Like this sort of thing. If a Chinese person gets access to this, which they probably won't. I mean, who knows what they know. If they look at this and go, now, full disclaimer, I do work for the Chinese. Okay. So, but full disclaimer, I don't work directly. I work with the Chinese. I love the Chinese. Alright? Just saying. That's what I'm defending. I'm a fucking double agent, you know? I'm just here as a fucking propaganda tool for the Chinese government. Okay? I said it. I'm on the payroll. Alright? Yeah, that's right. Totally. Clearly I'm not. Because, you know, I wouldn't be sat in this tiny kitchen if I was. Now, you see, but you know, it's just got to look at things from different perspectives sometimes. You know, look at this. You ever seen that? There's a great. It's not great, but it's interesting if you watch these propaganda videos created by the North Korean government. That does have a very interesting perspective on the West. There's this one great bit when they're talking. It's fucking hilarious. It's like it's just satire. It looks like it's an episode of Brass Eye or something, and it's like it's got what's the name? Who's America's top model? Next person. I'm saying this like someone's gonna go. Oh, is that? What's her name? Tara Banks. And this is America's next top model. This is Tara Banks. Everyone screams and praises her, and yet she does nothing. This is Paris Hilton. She is famous for going to parties. She has no talent and doesn't offer anything to society. And it's like, it's saying it real matter of fact. It's like, oh yeah. I'm not saying, look, we're not as wacky as North Korea, but if you watch stuff, if you watch a good documentary, right? I think it's co-produced by a Russian company. It's called The Children. I mean, it's The Children Under the Sun, or The People Living Under the Sun. One of those titles might be a really horrible Japanese film that'll make you upset. But actually, this will make you upset. In fact, I almost cried at the end of this documentary. Why? Because it just shows the bonkersness of this kind of totalitarian, fucking communist nonsense that everyone seems to think is great these days. Like, and this girl is. This little girl is being pushed to her limits to try and fucking participate in this show or whatever, and you know, they're in school with them, and basically they're not teaching maths or English or anything. They're going, and what did the great dear leader say? He said, "I will blow the Americans out the sky with a bazooka." And like that's literally what's going on in the class. It's mental, and you just got to watch it. I'm not going to spoil it, but at the end, it's not really a spoiler. It's not like it's. But at the end, the girl looks really upset, and they keep going like, "Why are you upset? Why are you upset?" She's like, "I don't know." She's crying and she's crying. So what will make you happy? And then she starts singing this pro-government song, and suddenly she goes from to happy, happy dear leader, let's give our money to the government. We are starving, we are dead, yay, 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 like this, like absolutely deliriously happy, and it's like that. Oh shit! Like it's fucking mad. But you know, like I'm saying is, there's a hell of a lot of people in the West who are fucking like that right now. A hell of a lot of them. So, you know, don't be like wagging your fingers at other countries and going, "Oh, you do this and you do that," when we got fucking nutters of our own. That's the point I'm trying to bloody make. But this whole thing with Muslims is interesting because I read something in the comments down here, right? And I wanted to look into it. And there's something about the Xinjiang riots.
Now to China, where
so these are riots that happened a few years back, okay, and it sort of adds an element to this bigger picture of the story. Again, I'm not condoning what's going on, but I think it's good that if you just jump on this horse of morality that everyone seems to want to ride, whereas I reject morality. Okay, I am what I am, and I fucking roll with it. Okay, I used to be a virtuous little shitper. I used to have my Captain Virtuous moments. I realised I'm just a fucking, I reject your morality. I'm a fucking nihilist, bruh. So you need to you can't just go around fucking, pumping your fucking, what's the word? Pumping your peacock feathers that have the fucking rainbow flag on it and saying, oh yeah, yeah. You can't go around doing that without knowing history and knowing a bit more about the situation and understanding a bit more, because in your mind it's just going, they are evil and they do this. It's like, well, let's have a look. I mean, what's this? So it's called Bloody Riots in China Leave 156 people dead. This is in 2009. So look at this.
And Hu Jintao left the G8 summit to fly home, deal with the ethnic protests in the northwest part of his country. A local Communist Party leader has called for the death penalty for anyone behind the violence, but even that has not been enough to stop the unrest. Clarissa Ward is in Urumqi, China.
The official party line here today, the situation is under control. But when we ventured out into this ethnically divided city, we discovered a disturbing scene. A mob of Han Chinese armed with sticks and bats viciously beating a Uyghur man before turning their anger towards us, outraged by what they call biased foreign coverage of recent events.
See, biased foreign coverage of recent events.
It's been 3 days since bloody riots broke out, pitting ethnic Uyghur Muslims against the dominant Han Chinese. The spark? 2 Uyghur factory workers died in a brawl with the Han. Now 156 people have been killed and more than 1,000 injured, making it the worst ethnic violence this country has seen in decades.
So the worst ethnic violence the country has seen in decades because of a fight broke out between some Muslims and some Hans.
Fearful of losing even more control, the government has blocked all internet, text messages, and international phone calls. And today, China spared no manpower to put a stop to the bloodshed. Thousands of troops have been...
Isn't that interesting? So in China, these ethnic tensions break out. Ethnic tensions break out. 156 people die. They shut down text messages, shut down the internet. This is China that has a firewall. This is China that has human rights violations. This is China, totalitarian government. Oh, this is China, this is China. This is China 10 years ago. This is New Zealand, Australia, England, blah, 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 going on right now. Thank you. Do you see what I did there? Yeah, big clap for me. Big clap for me. So look, what's that? Isn't that interesting? Now this relates to the current situation now. It's like the reaction of this 10 years on.
In here all day, and they've basically formed a perimeter around the predominantly Uyghur area. That's to make sure that the Uyghurs don't get out and the Han Chinese don't get in. But in Uyghur neighborhoods, the large troop presence gives little comfort. Our lives are in danger, this woman said. Yes.
So there you guys, that's that. So the Chinese reaction to that atrocity, biggest ethnic death toll, biggest death toll in a clash of ethnicities on time. So here's the Xinjiang region in China. Isn't this fascinating? Don't you just love how the more you can watch this, the more you can see that we're becoming like totalitarian communist China. And China's got better since... Oh, has it got better? I don't know. They have detention camps, but I hope this is interesting for you. I find it fascinating. Let's have a look.
China's far western Xinjiang region is one of the most tightly controlled areas in the entire country. It is officially called the Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region because 45% of its population are Uyghurs, a Muslim minority who identify themselves as culturally and ethnically close to the people of Central Asia. China's ruling Communist Party has governed all of Xinjiang since 1949. And in the decades since, activists say the government has introduced policies that have gradually eroded the Uyghurs' religious, commercial, and cultural activities. Uyghurs remain the dominant ethnicity in Xinjiang, but a large influx of Han Chinese, the country's largest ethnicity, has made Uyghurs the minority in major cities like Urumqi. While Beijing has invested heavily into industry and energy projects, touting them as signs of progress, many Uyghurs say the Han Chinese are taking most of the jobs that are created.
They're the Uyghurs saying that Han Chinese are taking most of the jobs that they created.
That has led to resentment and frustration that has broken out in violence more than once. In one of the worst incidents, nearly 200 people were killed in Urumqi in the summer of 2009. Dozens of others have been killed in bursts of violence in other parts of Xinjiang since. China blames Xinjiang separatists based outside the country for the unrest. It singled out exiled Uyghur leader Rebia Kadir, who has denied inciting violence. Several attacks in...
So, just in case you missed it, so let's see. So, you have this Muslim minority, but it's the majority in this region. And then the Hans come in, and then the Uyghurs, who are the Muslims, say, "Oh, the Hans are coming and taking our jobs." And then there's a clash, and 200 people, almost 200 people. Well, 156 died, but they say almost 200 out. It was a big thing. So what do? They gradually, over the past 10 years, have been persecuting the Uyghurs more and more and more. This is reflected in why have these internment camps now. Like, this is, because I've seen this, someone said this was sparked by what happened in Xinjiang. It was what got the ball rolling. That's from what I've gathered. Okay, that's why I went on this path and found these clips to look into it. So I'd heard that, but you can look it up yourself. I'm not here to tell you everything. I want to start you on your own little journey. So go on your own little journey. So okay. So the Uyghurs and the Muslims and the Hans are coming in and taking all their jobs, and then the government starts persecuting the Uyghurs, who are upset about the Hans taking all their jobs and blah blah blah, and then tensions rise, and now you've got Muslims in internment camps 10 years later, and the Chinese government shut down all internet and social media posting and even texting, and they also blame foreign interests for promoting violence and helping and orchestrating violence. This is China, communist totalitarian China, 2009. This is all sounding kind of familiar. Does this all sort of sound like what's going on now? Does it? A little bit.
Parts of China have also been blamed on Xinjiang separatists that authorities allege have ties with extremist groups like Al-Qaeda.
Ties with extremist groups. So this is the minority. The Muslim, the Uyghurs, the people who are saying, come stealing our jobs.
January 2018, officials said the number of trained jihadist fighters caught trying to re-enter China from overseas rose tenfold from the year before. The Chinese government has put Xinjiang under virtual lockdown. Observers say authorities have set up more than 7,300 police monitoring stations, confiscated the passports of most Uyghurs, and some parts of the region have forbidden parents from giving their newborns Muslim names. In August 2017, all Xinjiang residents were ordered to download and install this mobile app that security experts say scans phones for digital fingerprints of illicit files and informs authorities when it finds them. Human rights groups have also presented evidence of political education camps that have been set up in Xinjiang. They say up to 1 million Uyghurs and other Muslim minorities have been sent to the camps where they are subjected to propaganda that promotes the Chinese identity. China denies an arbitrary detention policy and says the people at these vocational centers are guilty of minor offenses and are being taught skills to reintegrate them into society. The full extent of the government.
So the point is, who's lying? Are we lying? Are the Chinese lying? Because you can't just think that it's them just lying. Not in the climate we live now. Sorry. You know, this is where you get into this conspiracy la la land. But, you know, I mean, after everything we've been experiencing recently, all the things that have been revealed, all the bullshit, you know, new media has given us an insight into the bullshit that's been pumped into us for so long. And here you have it in China. They're saying, oh, China's reaction to the threat of Islamic terrorism is pretty severe. Is hardcore according to this information. You've got a closed off nation. It's not totally closed off, obviously, but it's closed off enough. There, you know, what is true and what is not. Who is lying? That's the thing. Is it us or is it them? I don't know. Fuck knows. To be honest, I don't know. Just saying that subjectively, saying I don't know, but at the same time, look at the parallels of what's going on as well. And now you and also, as I said before, now you get like an understanding of why these detention camps have been set up, because they clamp down. The Chinese stamp out unrest. No Tiananmen Square didn't happen. They just go, no. They stamp it out. They crush it. They say, no, we'll not be having that. No, we'll not be having that kind of behaviour, thank you. We're going to make you download an app, and we're going to put you in detention centres where you can learn how to be a better citizen. That's right. And that is why it's going on. And that is why you should be more aware of the parallels that are occurring in our own Western society right now. So hopefully that's some food for thought for you that you can sink your teeth into. Just look it up. Go on a wormhole. Go on a little wormhole and look at the parallels and look at all the little things that go on, and ask yourself about all the sort of these radical left ideas that have infiltrated everything, and think about all these things that are happening, and all the little things that happen, the little bit more you can't say, the little bit more you can't do, and all this stuff, and think of where it leads to. I don't know. Well, there's the image. Yeah, maybe in a few years' time you'll be off to your own little vocational camp to teach you how to be a better citizen for the greater good of the people and society. Okay? That'd be nice. That'd be alright, wouldn't it? That'd be a nice day out. Day out for you and the family. You know, everyone can get together in your internment camp and sing lovely songs. I mean, I don't know what sort of songs a British brainwashing internment camp would have. I expect they get Ed Sheeran to write it. You know, he's definitely someone that probably would be absolutely fine with doing that kind of thing, wouldn't he? I'd expect. You know, Ed Sheeran could write a lovely little ode to the government, saying, "I love the British government, it's so great. Chairman Corbyn is the saviour of the human race. Da, 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 da.